subscribe, share and like and comment also. In this video, we shall learn about the CTET, because so many people, so many students, new students, they may apply to the CTET because they don't know what is the CTET, what are the about the CTET and applicability of the CTET or validity period of CTET certificate and structure and pattern of the CTET. So in new students and paper 1, paper 2, they don't know about the, because newly they will apply for the CTET. So they should have an idea of the CTET to score the marks or to qualify the marks. Today we will have a video on about CTET. Okay, so CTET is the Central Teacher Eligibility Test. The central government will conduct this test. Okay, about the teacher's job. Teacher's job is a valuable job because it gives a knowledge and a education to the student. Okay, and that also not only education and education part, it also gives the community how to knowledge of the community, also knowledge of the world, also the teaching profession gives. So teaching profession is the noble and valuable in the society throughout the world also. Okay, so about the CTET, let us see. It develops the human resource also. So the central government or the children recently what happened, recently they as per the norms of the right of children to free and compulsory education, that is RTA Act 2009. The Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India has entrusted, that means believed that the responsibility of conducting the Central Teacher Eligibility Test, that is called CTET. Okay, to the Central Board of Secondary Education Delhi, to the Central Board of the Secondary Education of New Delhi. Now at present, in this period, it became compulsory for a person who interested to become a teacher at the elementary level 1 to 7th class to equal the Central Teacher Eligibility Test and to qualify the Central Teacher Eligibility Test. So nowadays it became a compulsory for a teacher who wants the teacher job. He has to write the CTET exam. Okay. Applicability of CTET. CTET is applicable to which schools? That also we should have idea of CTET. Okay. The CTET shall apply to the schools, and it is applied to the schools, central government schools. That means KVS, NVS, and Tibetan schools, etc. And schools under the administration control of. Some of the schools are there are in the different administrative control. Okay. UT means Union Territory Schools of Chandigarh and Andaman Nicobar Islands. Okay, CTET may also apply to the this CTET who qualifies the CTET, they may also eligible for unaided private schools who may exercise the option of considering the CTET. So some of the schools nowadays, instead of TET examination, they may ask also CTET who qualified the CTET candidates are required for our school. Okay, so CTET has got a importance to get a teacher post throughout the India. Okay, then schools, not only schools of the central government, the different management schools also, they are asking CTET who qualifies that candidates are required for the post of the teachers. And not only that one, schools owned and managed by the state government also they are asking who write the CTET, they are both eligible for central government as well as state government schools also. Local bodies and aided schools also, they consider the TET means teachers eligibility TET, that is tests are conducted by the TET test. So some of the schools also, the state government schools also, they may ask qualified candidates from the CTET for the government and for the private jobs also. So it has got a more importance. So who qualifies the CTET is eligible for the central government schools which are conducted or under the management of the central government, and also as well as state government schools also, they are eligible. Okay, so this is the applicability of the CTET. Next, what is the validity period of the CTET certificate? Suppose a person or a candidate who qualified, he has got a certificate of CTET. So what will be the validity period? Let us see. CTET presently being conducted by annually, yearly once the CTET is conducted. The validity period of CTET qualifying certificate for appointment will be 7 years. Okay, 7 years. Once if you pass the CTET, you are eligible to apply for the teacher jobs up to 7 years of all categories, not only OC, BC, all categories they are eligible for 7 years. Okay, and there is no any restrictions. There is no any restrictions on number of attempts as person can take for a acquiring CTET certificate. That means there is no limit. Unlimitedly you can attempt the CTET or you can write the CTET examination. As a person who has qualified CTET may also appear again for the improvement also. Okay, to score the marks also. This is the validity period of the CTET certificate. Okay, next we will go for the structure and pattern of CTET. Central teacher eligibility test, the pattern, the how the examination will be conducted. Okay, all questions in CTET will be multiple choice questions. In short form we call MCQs. Okay, each carrying 1 mark. Each question carries 1 mark, and with 4 alternative out of which one answer will be correct. That means MCQ questions, one question will be there will be 4 answers for the questions. From the 4 answers, you have to choose the correct answer. Then you will get a mark. There will be 2 papers CTET. There will be 2 papers for the CTET. Paper 1 will be for person who intends to be a teacher for class 1 to 5th. Paper 1 is eligible for the class 1 to 5th. Next, paper 2nd will be for a person who intends to be a teacher for class 6th to 8th. Okay, these are the one paper, second paper. Paper 2nd is the for class 6 to 8th. Okay, duration of the examination and what is the time of the examination, how much time they will give to write the examination. Okay, the examination time period is 150 minutes. Okay, so paper 2, what are the subjects you have to learn, on which subjects there will be questions, and how much marks and how many questions will be there. Okay, then we will see. In the paper 2, just I am telling about the paper 2. Paper 2, that is for class 6th to 8th. The subject is the child development and pedagogy. Questions, 30 questions will be there and marks will be 30 for that. Second one is the language 1, that is English. Questions will be 30 and 30 marks will be there. Third, language, that is third language. Language 2nd, Hindi. The questions will be 30 and marks will be 30. Afterwards, mathematics and science. The 60 questions will be there and marks will be 60. So, paper 2nd, questions will be 150 totally and marks also 150. So, this is about the CTET. You should remember this one. And a person who intends to be a teacher for both levels, that means both levels means from class 1 to 5th and from class 6th to 8th, who are interested to do these jobs, the class 1 to 5 and class 6 to 8 will have to appear in both the papers, that is paper 1 and paper 2. Okay, this is about the CTET. Thank you very much for watching this video, and please subscribe, share and like. Okay, comment also. Thank you very much once more.